Hey, what's up guys? It is Rob and I am back with a brand new top 10 video. This is actually a response to Horrorfan34, my good buddy Thomas. He came up with a video idea to do his top 10 favorite movie endings. And I thought that was brilliant. I know I talked about shocking endings before, but this is basically just your favorite ending to a movie. And honestly, I had trouble with this list. I have a ton. I wrote them down here. I picked out my top 10, but I also have some honorable mentions. So for this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the ending a little bit, okay? There's going to be spoilers, so I just want to pre-warn you, about it, because I don't know how else to do it. I need to talk about why these films are my favorite when it comes to the ending. So, let's go over my honorable mentions first. Here we have Ewok's Adventures, the Battle for Endor. Now, I watched that when I was younger, and I love the ending to that movie. Even today, Wilford Brimley, who just passed away, rest in peace, he was excellent in the movie, and it was a little sad. It was kind of like E.T. in a way. It was just like it, in fact, because Wilford Brimley and the kid leave the planet of Endor after being there for a long time. And they say goodbye to the Ewoks and stuff, but there's a really cool battle in the third act, which is really awesome. So Battle for Endor is definitely one that I consider to have a, awesome ending. Above the Rim is another one where Dwayne Martin, he, wants to go to college and he ends up getting a scholarship, but the third act, there's this really fun, entertaining basketball game that he kind of stands up for himself because this gang is pushing him around, but he decides he's not going to take it. He's going to just stand up for himself, and they're not going to bribe him or anything or blackmail him. So really, really good ending to that movie. Another one is A League of Their Own. This has kind of a sad ending too, but the third act, there's a baseball game between Lori Petty and Gina Davis because they're sisters and they're going against each other. And I love the ending where they're all grown up and they're kind of old and they go to the museum, and there's just really good moments there. It's a really good movie, by the way. Another one is October Sky, about, these kids who make rockets, and they go to the science fair, they win the science fair, and the ending is kind of sad too, where Jake Gyllenhaal's dad shows up and he gets to shoot off the last rocket that they do, and it's kind of like a father and son moment. That's a really, really great ending. It kind of makes me tear up. Another one is What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. A fantastic ending where he dies, he goes to heaven, but his wife kills herself and she goes to hell. So he has to go to hell to bring her back to heaven. No one's ever done that before. Stunning visuals, and it's kind of sad as well, but I just love the ending to this movie. Fantastic. Another one is The Mist. Now, this is kind of a shocking ending, but I do like it because it really makes you think. If he would have waited like 5 seconds more after he kills everybody, and then help shows up, he would have been fine. But how could you really know? They thought they were going to die out there. It's an ending that I like because it has balls. It really does. Another one is Labor Day with Kate Winslet and Josh Brolin. This is a fantastic movie. Josh Brolin is on the run from the cops because of an accident that happened. He went to jail for it, but he escaped, and he meets her with her son. She's single with her son, and they end up falling in love. They say this is kind of like The Notebook. This is way better than The Notebook. The ending is kind of sad, but it is so good. It is so well written. It is. It's very, very good. If you haven't seen Labor Day, check it out. Another one is Drag Me to Hell. I love the ending where she gets drugged down. The demon comes up, and it happens on a subway track, which is interesting. And it happens out of nowhere. Like, you just don't even understand what's going on. Then all of a sudden, you think she's rid of the curse, and then that happens. That was a fantastic ending. Another one is Lock Up with Stallone, a great ending of what he goes through in prison, the third act, when he tries to escape. And then, you know, he gets the warden, he captures him, and he basically stands off with the police, but then, you know, the warden was bad, so he ends up, you know, getting released from prison. Another satisfying ending is Furious 7. I thought this was a great end of the series, but it's not the end of the series because we got Fate of the Furious and then Furious 9 or whatever. This was a good send-off to Paul Walker. This is another one that kind of makes me tear up at the end when Vin Diesel and him are driving separate ways, and it's like he's driving off into heaven. It's hard to watch, but it's so good. It's a good ending. Another one is Breakfast Club. This has one of the most memorable endings. You know, all these kids go to detention, but then they're different, but they're the same. Like, they're different. Like, you got the jock, you got the criminal, you know, you got the princess girl, the stuck-up girl. But you find out that they're all, like, they all have issues, and they all come together at the end of the movie. Very, very awesome. Another one is Get Out. I believe Thomas mentioned this. This has a great ending where you know, the guy gets out, basically. He gets held captive to get the brain surgery, and he basically outsmarts this family and, you know, goes after him for revenge at the end. Return of the Living Dead 3 has a great ending, kind of a Romeo and Juliet thing. You know, what's her name? Mindy Clark. You know, she's a zombie, and her boyfriend does anything possible to protect her and ends up, you know, putting her in this, they go into this station where they're both going to die, and he ends up dying with her because he's not going to leave her side, because she's already dead. She's a zombie, but he's not. So he just stays with her. It's a very, very, it is kind of sad in a way. Another one, my favorite horror movie of all time, The Shining. Great ending. I think you know about this already. The whole third act where Jack Nicholson is chasing Danny. Great one. Another one is Teen Wolf. I like this ending because the third act is a great basketball game where Michael J. Fox doesn't turn into the wolf. He actually stays as Michael J. Fox. The whole point of turning the wolf is to be not like everyone else. He wants to be different. He wants to be not a loser and fumble everything all the time and trip and be clumsy. When he's the wolf, he's you know, he's not that. But in this movie, it just kind of shows you that you don't need to be different. You can be yourself, is what the message is. And I do like the third act. It's just it's a great basketball game and a great ending. Another great ending is The Goonies. There, you know, the whole getting away from the Fratellis, the pirate ship reveal, and then they're all sitting on the rocks, and you see One-Eyed Willie's ship in the sunset and in the water. A fantastic ending. I always love that one. Another one is The Fan. This is a crazy ending. Robert De Niro, I think this is one of his best performances, even like since Cape Fear. But you know, he stands out in the baseball field with a knife, and he's getting ready to throw a knife at Wesley Snipes after kidnapping his son. He's like, "Now do you care?" Really intense film. It really is. I love The Fan. Another one is Stranded. I haven't talked about this movie enough, but the ending where they're on Mars and they discover this place where they can actually breathe air because they're rationing their air, they're rationing their food. They find this place on Mars where they don't need to wear a helmet. And they discover this alien life. It's a I'm going to actually review this movie in depth. Another one is Shot. I guarantee you've never heard of this film. You know, this photographer likes to take pictures, and he goes down to the hood and he meets this kid who likes photography, but this kid's brother is in a gang, and this gang basically doesn't like this photographer guy, and they go after him at the end. It's a very, very good ending, very sad, but it's very, very well done. Another one is An Officer and a Gentleman. This has one of those romantic endings, but I don't really consider it that. I think it's you know, a couple that was together and then they kind of fell apart because one's going after his career and the other one's, you know, kind of staying put. But then he says, "Screw it, I'm going to bring her with me. At the end, Richard Gere basically goes into the factory. He gets Deborah Winger. He picks her up and he carries her out of the factory, basically saying, "You're not working this dead-end job anymore. You're coming with me. I'm a naval aviator. We're going to live our life traveling the world, and that's what we're going to do." It is a great movie. This is fantastic. Another one is Last Samurai. I've talked about this a lot. Love the ending to this with a big war, and then he finally finds peace. Very, very good. Another one is Misery. Fantastic ending there, where Paul Sheldon is, you know, on his last leg. Basically, he's riding to save his life, and he says he finally has enough. He hits Kathy Bates with a typewriter, and basically, even though he can't walk, he just tries to tackle her and fight her. Even though she shoots him, he tries to get out, and I love it. It's a great movie. The last honorable mention is The Principal. Love the third act of this, where this gang basically takes on James Belushi and Lou Gossett Jr. in this school, and he has to basically stop this gang. There's no cops coming or nothing. It's just them two versus this gang. Very, very good. All right. So now, let's start with my top 10, okay? Number 10 is The Lion King. This had a very satisfying ending, but I love the whole story. The whole story is great. And the thing, this is not I'm not talking about, I just held this up because it's, this is not the cartoon. This is the live action one, but I just didn't want to get the cartoon. I actually can't, it's under all these, stacks of movies, so I'm just going to hold this up. I'm talking about the cartoon, the animated one, not the live action, but I just thought I'd hold this up. Anyway, yeah. The animated one is great. I love the ending to that, where Simba basically redeems himself. He takes over the kingdom by fighting Scar, and he's not taking anyone's crap. He doesn't care. He's gonna take his father's place, and I love that story, and it's a great ending. And it is, I would say, it's an ending that's, you kind of tear up. You really do. All right, so that's number 10. Number 9 is the Sister Act movies. I just put 1 and 2. I love the endings to these movies. A great performance by Whoopi Goldberg with the nuns who sing in the choir and stuff. It's a big third act for both of these movies, where they put on a show. I love it. I grew up with these movies, and they're just some of my favorites. I probably like the first one a little bit more. Coming in at number 8 is First Blood. This has a fantastic ending. I mean, the third act, you know, basically Stallone's taking on the whole police force. He goes into the town, and he scares the sheriff, you know, shitless. He's basically pissing his pants. But I love the whole conversation with him. I just love the whole conversation with him and the colonel, where he talks about his buddies and stuff like that. He's like, "Nothing is over. You don't just turn it off." Really, really great dialogue, and I love the ending to the movie. Number 7 is Whiplash. Fantastic movie right here. This has an unbelievable ending. Miles Teller on the drums. I mean, J.K. Simmons is a real ass. I mean, he's a mean teacher, and he basically, at the end of this movie, you know, he basically tells Miles Teller to come back onto the band. He goes onto the band, and J.K. Simmons basically humiliates him on stage in front of everybody, but then Miles Teller's like, "Screw it. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show him." So then you see him come back on the drums, and he just starts doing all this crazy stuff, and J.K. Simmons is like blown away by it. Like, he's just like, "Oh my God, like, this kid does have it." Satisfying ending right here. It's a satisfying movie. I love this movie. Okay, number 6 is Ghost. Another sad ending, but satisfying. Patrick Swayze's no longer with us, you know, and, you know, seeing this movie now that he's gone, it just makes you think, like, you know, there's some truth behind it, but everyone's performance was great. I really dig the ending, and it's the third act where he tries to take down the criminals, and then they get dragged to hell, basically, but then he goes to heaven. Really, really awesome. I'm just going to hold this up for number 5. Now we're on my top 5. I'm going to say Rocky Balboa, the 6th film. I think the 6th film ended the series perfectly, and a lot of people will agree with me. The sixth film ended the Rocky movies indefinitely. I mean, it is the way it ended. Rocky Rocky Balboa was a sad movie, but the way it ended, I felt like there was closure to the character. I felt like that was it, like the chapter ended. Even though Creed started it up again, Creed was sort of a side story, but it does continue the Rocky universe. I still think Rocky Balboa is the satisfying ending. Coming in at number 4 is Jaws. This was a great ending, the whole third act. When the boat's going down, Quint gets eaten, Brody's in the water, and he basically is trying to hang on for dear life while the shark is coming at him. And the shark eats the tank, and he's just like, smile, you son of a bitch, and then blows him up. One of the greatest endings ever made. I'm sorry, it is awesome. Coming in at number 3 is The Karate Kid 2. Now, I didn't pick Karate Kid 1. I think Karate Kid 2 has a more satisfying ending, and here's why. I love the fight, the whole third act, the fight with him and Chosen, which is, they're fighting to the death. But Daniel ends up sparing his life and saves Kumiko, but the way it ends, he gives her a hug and he looks at Miyagi, and it's just so good. It's a great ending. It's like he saved her, but he also, you know, he took back his honor, basically. And instead of killing Chosen, which is probably what he would have done, he spared his life because he's a good person. He would never do that. I love the meaning. I love the ending to The Karate Kid Part 2. All right, coming in up at number 2 is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Freaking love the ending to this. The whole fight with the T-1000, you know, and then the whole sad part where Arnold has to get lowered into the lava is just so amazing. It is you're seeing a hero die, basically. A character that's a robot and you're connected with him. I mean, it's so good. Yeah, one of the greatest endings ever. So we're on to my number 1, and I think maybe some of you can guess. This ending was the most satisfying ending I have ever. I mean, I've never felt so satisfied. It was, even though it's not the end of the series, I thought it should have ended it. Man, was it great. And I saw it in the theater, and everyone was like, yeah! Like, everyone went crazy. Halloween H2O. The whole ending, where Jamie Lee basically fights Michael. She stands her ground against Michael. She takes Michael. Michael's unconscious. He's in the van. The van crashes or whatever. Michael gets caught in a tree. Jamie goes over. They have a little she has like a little conversation, and then all of a sudden she chops his head off. And it ends with her being like she just conquered her fears. That's the whole message of this movie, is that she faced her fears. She had nightmares. She was scared. She was taking medication she would drink because of all this. She conquered her fears. That was the whole message, and I loved it. Once she cut his head off, she knew there's no way he's coming back now. But no. In Halloween Resurrection, they ruined it. Oh, Michael's part of the Mission Impossible crew now, because Michael can infiltrate the paramedics. Oh, he can get a paramedic and dress him up, because he was doing that the whole time. Took a paramedic, crushed his voice box, and then put him in the Michael Myers outfit, and Michael just walks off into the bushes. Stupid! They should have just left it alone. This ending was fantastic. That is my number 1 favorite movie ending. Alright guys, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed this, and like I said, this is a response to Horrorfan34, aka my buddy Thomas. Go check out his channel, and if you want to do a response to this, please do so. If you want to listen in the comments, that's fine. Or if you want to do a video response, that's even better. So, hope you enjoyed my top 10 favorite movie endings. And this is Rob signing off, and I'll be back with more videos.